Should Arizona basketball be favored to win the Big 12 at this point?
You are Locked On Wildcats, your daily podcast on the Arizona Wildcats. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day, your team every day. This show is brought to you today by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Now, going into the Big 12, I think a lot of people were wondering, where is Arizona in the grand scheme of this? They were preseason picked to finish 5th, and, I don't know that you could necessarily have a huge problem with that, being that Arizona was preseason picked to finish 10th in the entire country. So I don't think that was really a slight at all towards Arizona. As a matter of fact, I think it was just more of a compliment to just how tough the Big 12 is. You get it. But I will say that now I think at this stage of the game, it's probably a little bit easier to be able to calibrate where everybody is. And first, let's talk a little bit about I think, some of the elephants in the room. And that is that, Tommy Lloyd and Grant McCasland are probably your coaches of the year. We're going to get into that in a little bit. We're also going to be talking about the all-conference team, things like that. But a team that Kansas was expected to be just a massive heavyweight this season, and honestly, they almost always are. I don't know that was really that was breaking any news to anybody, but Kansas has not been good this year. Listen, they do have some good wins, no doubt, but when you watch them, I thought this was going to be an overwhelming team. I thought this was going to be a team that, you bring in a bunch of high-profile players. You're also laden with a bunch of guys that are coming back that are winning basketball players. Your DeJuan Harris's, your Hunter Dickinson's. I mean, I think he's overrated. KJ Adams. The problem, though, with Kansas is that they struck out on some of the players that were supposed to be difference makers for them. And then a big one is, excuse me, a big one is, excuse me, a big one is AJ Storr. AJ Storr, I think, was supposed to be that perimeter wing player that was going to get you buckets, hopefully replace Kevin McCullough. That has certainly not been the case for Illinois, Illinois and Kansas. Either way, they just haven't been that good. They haven't looked that impressive, and they've dropped some games, and I think they're going to drop some more games. So that's the first team that's kind of, I don't want to say out of the way, but whatever. Then another team that Houston right now is roll. Again, they're struggling a little bit. I get it. It's like Kelvin Sampson said, the conference is a grind. Sometimes dudes just get tired after a while, and I get it. Sometimes guys just get, and that's, I think, kind of where Houston is. But looking at Houston come NCAA tournament time, that's going to be a really, really tough out for anybody. I don't think they are as good as last year, mainly because I don't believe that they replaced Jamal Shed in the manner. I mean, Milos Uzan is okay, but I don't look at that team and be like, offensively, they're going to struggle to score. Now, they are coming to Arizona, so Arizona's got to have all hands on deck on that one. Arizona's in a great spot. I think if you can win that game, because again, you're not going to Houston. So if Arizona could somehow win that game against Houston, think that it's then I think you're the favorite. But we will see how that plays out. But either way, it's a very well coached team. It's a tough team. It's a team that just does a lot of stuff really, really well. Then you've got another team in there, Iowa State. Iowa State's slumping right now. Now, did Arizona break Iowa State? I think that's the question. I don't know that you can really put that in there without. I'm not sure. I think Arizona did break Iowa State though, and I think that's something that we need to look at because again, they have not looked the same against Kansas. They looked terrible. Granted, that was in fog. I get all of that, but at the same time, you also know that Iowa State's just. Iowa State, I did not think that they would get pushed around like that. That's kind of where I was a little bit surprised. So I'm I didn't really see that. Now, the other team, Baylor's just not very good. Baylor is a team that is kind of decimated, to be honest with you, in a weird way. I mean, you hear all the rumors about Langston Love and Jeremy Roach. Have they basically quit on the team? I don't know. And I think that's something that I think a lot of people trying to figure out, because it doesn't feel like that there's something there. VJ Edgecombe has finally started to play really well, but is this game over, or is it kind of over at this point? Now we will find this one out. But Arizona is sitting pretty. The one team that I think a lot of people are a little bit surprised by is Texas Tech. Grant McCasland. Any other year, Tommy Lloyd I think is the easy coach for conference coach of the year. Right now, that's Grant McCasland. But maybe Grant McCasland. Maybe if you're Arizona, you beat it to Texas Tech, then I think you got to put Tommy Lloyd as the Big 12 coach of the year at that point. Either way, though, Arizona's 10-1, but Texas Tech, that's a tough team. You're coming into McHale. Arizona's got to win that one, in my opinion. You get to 11-1 on the season, then I think you start pushing. Then I think you start saying, "Hey, can we really get this thing to 17-3? Can we get this thing to 16-4? Worst case scenario." Because if I were to tell you before the season that Arizona was going to be 16-4, you know, it is what it is. But that's a big thing. That's going to be a huge win. And I know we keep saying must wins, but for NCAA selection seeding, Arizona didn't do itself many favors in the out of conference schedule. So that is a big part. That's a big part of all this. You've got to just continue to keep winning games. As long as you continue to keep winning games, you're going to be in really good shape. And I think that's the exciting part about all of this for Arizona, is that just seeing kind of how this team has, just seeing how the metamorphosis of this team, I think, has been something that's been just really, really cool to see. And just kind of where Arizona's at, I think, shows a lot of that. It just shows how Arizona has gotten to this point. Again, Tommy Lloyd, I know that I'm breaking some news here. Tommy Lloyd is a good coach, and it is funny that a lot of people that are generally in my mentions have stopped talking about Tommy Lloyd. You just don't hear from them anymore. But in the grand scheme of things, this has gone swimmingly well in the Big 12 so far. I don't think that there's any other way to put it. And I had some, trepidations, but also, and we're going to talk about Arizona here in a second, but the big thing with this conference, though, is that it is going to get you ready for the NCAA tournament. The Pac-12 just didn't, the Pac-12 just didn't get you ready for the NCAA tournament. You kind of slept walk. You didn't really get punched in the face much. You lost some games you shouldn't have lost, probably because you're not taking the team seriously. I'm not saying that that's anybody's fault, but that's just kind of the way it is. You didn't necessarily take a lot of these teams seriously. And Arizona, I think, was certainly a benefactor of playing in a crummy conference, but it didn't help them come NCAA tournament time. These games are all helping you come NCAA tournament time. The environments are absolutely electric. You look at BYU, for example. BYU's an NCAA tournament team, most likely, but that environment was second to none. I don't know how else to put it. That environment was rocking in there, and it was those are the kind of games that get you ready. You get ready for a hostile environment. You know that you're going to be going against teams that that have a little bit of an extra level to them. When those, you just didn't have those in the Pac-12. It was Gill Coliseum. It was Haas Pavilion. It was all these gross places. Arizona now is in a conference where the people go there, they care about basketball, and even the teams that aren't good, they still show up. The fans still show up. These are tough places to play, and honestly, if you're Arizona, that's something that I think you're pretty excited about, because you got to continue to push that one. You got to continue to, like I said, just continue to get those wins, continue to stack those up. Now, we're going to talk about Arizona, because there are some interesting things about this Arizona team that I think are flying a little bit under the radar. But first, game time, my friend. Looking for tickets for your next event, whether it's a concert, a comedy show, or a sports game, finding the right ticket at the right price can be a headache. We all know this. We've all been through it. Come on, let's be honest here. But with Gametime picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how this works. With Gametime Picks, the app does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals so you don't have to waste time searching through endless ticket listings. All right, here's the deal though. Ready to make your next event better? Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Gametime. Last-minute tickets. Lowest price is guaranteed. And like I said, not just for sporting events, concerts, all kinds of really good stuff. Everybody's using Gametime, and there is a reason for everybody using Gametime. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I am your host, Mike Luke, and again, your team every day on Locked On. Okay, now let's talk a little bit about Arizona now that we got the conference out of the way, and just kind of how you're getting there. You're getting there because this team is tough. That's the best way that I can put it. You're getting there because this team is tough, and you watch them, and you're kind of like, all right. Is this something we necessarily expected? And I think we should have, because again, it didn't look like this early in the season, but so far it in the Big 12 and Big 12 play, it's been totally different. And a big reason why is that this starting lineup outside, well, the rotation outside of a couple guys is very tough. Let's talk about Jaden Bradley at first. Jaden Bradley is the perfect Big 12 point guard. Jaden Bradley is exactly what I want at at this level. He commands the offense. He does it in a shrewd way, and he's somebody. He's just a run stopper. And what I mean by that is when another team gets on a run, when another team starts really feeling its oats, as my grandma would say, he either gets to the basket, gets a layup, just does something where it just completely stops the other team in its tracks. And that's just a quality that he has. And I don't know how he always does it, but he always does it. It's a very like I said, it's something interesting, and it's something is that if I was scouting Arizona, I would say stop letting him do this. But he's good. And he obviously, I mean, he's Arizona upgraded massively at that point guard position with Jaden Bradley. He is so much better than what they've had with Kylan Boswell and Kerr Kriisa. He's a professional. He goes about things the right way, and he's a dude that just he just kind of gets it. Defensively, he gets it. Offensively, he gets it. Next year, I think he's an absolute monster if you pair him with somebody like Braden Burries, where he can just kind of get out and just do his thing. But Jaden's the man. I don't know what else to say. I think Jaden is your midseason MVP. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And then you get to Caleb Love. Things are looking a lot better for Caleb Love right now. He is Caleb at the, I think Caleb Love is where Caleb Love right now is kind of what kind of where we're at with Arizona. You needed Caleb Love to be that dude who's going to be an All-American, and he's playing like an All-American. He is he's the one that makes it. He's the one with the highest upside on the team. He's the dude that when he is playing aggressively, he is Arizona's best player by a mile because he can just do things on the court. He can just score. And it's just fun to watch him. He's you can tell too that he's feeling good. And again, another thing too that people need to understand, and I always bring this up, he's a guy that everybody on the team likes him. He is somebody that you just watch him and you're like, he gets it. He gets it off the court. He's very, very good. All those rumors that followed him here, Arizona hasn't seen any of those. He is he's just a gem. He's a player that he's a dude that you know. But what I need him to do is I need him to continue to be aggressive. And when I say be aggressive, I need him to get into the lane. I need him to be able to get into the paint and do exactly what he's been doing. He's been very, very good at this. And not only has he been very good at it, there's been games where when the shot isn't falling, he just needs to continue to get to the hoop. And when he gets to the hoop, he's a monster. There's going to be no. Now listen, we know at this stage that he's probably not going to put together 6 straight great shooting performances. He's just not built like that. But that's fine because he can still draw fouls. He can still get in the paint. He can make life easier. And when he's doing that for himself, it just makes everything go much, much smoother. It's been exciting to watch how this has unfolded. He's a dude too that when you see him, you just want him to play well. Then let's get to we're gonna go with the closing lineup really, and then we'll get to some of the other players. KJ Lewis, the jack of all trades. My only qualm with KJ will always be just get downhill and get to the basket with the dribble. But other than that, that dude is he's getting assists, he's getting rebounds. He is just that. How do I put it? He is that total facilitator. He's the guy that he just kind of makes everything work. And when I say that he just kind of makes everything work, he's just kind of that glue guy. He doesn't need a ton of points, doesn't need a ton of assists, but he finishes it out. You look at his stats at the end of the game, he's got 11 points, he's got 4 rebounds, he's got 3 assists. He's got just, he's just making winning basketball plays. And when he's getting ready defensively and he's D'ing you up, good luck with that one if you're an opposing team because he's strong, he's physical, he's got good instincts. Again, just a dude just a winning basketball player. You win games like that, but he's just been different. He's just been different. He's just been totally different. I don't know what else to say. He is just a guy that you win with games with him. Carter Bryant continues to do the everything that you need. He can block shots, he can shoot threes. He's just the upside on the team is just significantly higher when he's out on the court. It just is. And when he gets beat defensively, he still can block shots. He can get rebounds. Arizona needs him out on the court. They need him out on the court in a big way. They're just better with him on the court. And then Henry has changed everything from shot blocking to basically finishing around the hoop, dunking everything. This has been a Henry that has been something that has been a game changer for Arizona. And he's just got to continue to do it. That's what you like. You got to love what Henry has done. And Henry is, and give a lot of kudos to Tommy Lloyd because Tommy Lloyd has been the dude who has really kind of just developed him. You look at Tommy Lloyd's big men and his coaching of big men, and it's been quite impressive. It's been very impressive. I mean, some of the guys that you've seen, from a Tabellis to a Christian Coloco to a Umar Ballo, leader of men, you name it, he continues to do it. And not only does he continue to do it, he's making these guys a lot of money. He made Keyshawn Johnson a lot of money. He's made him a lot of money, and that's it's just kind of the way it is. Like Walter Cronkite, that's just the way it is. And then let's look a little bit then on the on the bench. Tobe Awaka obviously starts. Tobe's been great. Tobe's been much better than I think anybody, including myself, could have ever hoped. He's been tough. He plays tough. He plays hard. Arizona, he's another one. He's a winning basketball player. I don't know what else there is to say about him. Just a winning basketball player. Then the other two, Anthony Del Orso has his points. Now, again, I get that there are some issues, but these two that we're about to talk about, they're kind of the weak links, but one of them has some skills where, some redeemable skills. That's the best way that I could put it. But one place that has some redeemable skills, a lot of redeemable skills, is PrizePicks. Check out PrizePicks, my friend. The big game is almost here. You know what it is, and there's no better way to make it even more exciting than with PrizePicks, the best place for daily fantasy sports. With over 10 million members and billions in winning awards, PrizePicks makes it fun and simple to get in the action. All right, here's the deal, though. Here's how it works. The more you pick more or less of the players' projections. It's pretty cool. And if you're right, you went up to 100 or 1,000 times your cash. PrizePicks even has a free pick for the big game where Patrick Mahomes only needs to throw 1 yard to win. Woohoo! Now, download the app today and use code LOCKEDONCollege to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONCollege for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. The Super Bowl is here. Take advantage of that with PrizePicks. Thanks for keeping it locked on Wildcats and making this your first listen of the day. I'm your host, Mike Luke. All right, now, listen, with Anthony Del Orso, he obviously can't defend. We know that, but he's got a role on this team because he offensively, he can shoot threes, and he's actually a fairly good creator, a fairly good facilitator. He can do some good things for Arizona. He is far from a lost cause. So again, Trey Townsend is a lost cause. The team is just a million times better without him on the court. He doesn't really provide anything. He doesn't rebound. Most of the time, he doesn't try hard. And he doesn't really score, doesn't defend. He's just been a massive, massive disappointment. And honestly, he's just not good enough to play at this level. I don't know how else to put it. He's just not good enough to play at this level. And I think that, I think the coaching staff gets it. I mean, that second half against BYU, I think, was fairly indicative of where Trey Townsend is and what his role on the team should be, because they were a million times better without him, because everybody else can play at a high level. Everybody else, can, even ADO, can contribute something at a high level, whereas Trey Townsend doesn't do that. And like I said, my biggest part too is that, he just doesn't play hard a lot of the time. And that to me is the one inexcusable part. Now, all that said, Tommy Lloyd, if he beats Texas Tech, that's your coach of the year. That's your Big 12 coach of the year. Because again, Arizona was picked to finish 5th. They would be 11-1 in conference at this point. That would be your coach of the year. And McCaslin's done a great job, but that's gonna be a big game for Arizona, because you would be 2 games up on Texas Tech as well. Then you start giving yourself a little bit of a buffer zone where you know that, all right, if we keep just running these games off, we're going to be in pretty good shape come tournament time. That's why I keep saying you got to get greedy. You got to get greedy. You got to keep winning another game. You got to keep winning a game after that. And if that happens, then you know that Arizona's going to be in good shape. But again, it's Tommy Lloyd's done an amazing job with this squad. And again, we're lucky to have Tommy Lloyd. When I say that, I mean that. We are very lucky to have Tommy Lloyd. He's a dude who, he's a guy that, he just kind of gets life. He doesn't, he gets people. He's a great fit for Tucson. That's the best way that I can put it. He is a great fit for Tucson and everything that he does. And he's going to break through at some point. Now, excuse me. Tomorrow, we're going to talk a little bit about Arizona recruiting. We are going to talk about where Arizona is with Koa Pete, what possible lineups are for next season, because there's a lot of intrigue that's going to go into next season. I know people don't want to necessarily look ahead too far. I get all that, but there's a lot of curious intrigue when it comes to Arizona basketball, because again, you got Braden Burries, you got Koa Pete, you've got dudes like that. You've got a lot of guys on this roster that could potentially be back next year. So we're going to see how all of that does play as well. But there's a lot to like about where Arizona basketball is right now and the future. Again, is Tommy Lloyd perfect? No, but he's really, really darn good at what he does. And I think Arizona fans need to realize that, because if he were to ever hit the open market, he would be gobbled up immediately by an elite level school. Something, again, he's just a difference maker. He is a big time coach, and he's a good dude on top of that. We'll also maybe talk a little bit of football, talk a little bit of signing day as well, because this is a situation with signing day where, Arizona's got a few new players in there as well at the last second. Very, very good stuff. So again, but as always, it's always a good time to be a Wildcat fan. Very much appreciate you, though, all making Locked On Wildcats your first listen of the day. And I am your host, Mike Luke. Again, bear down, back the A, and we will be back with you tomorrow talking Tommy Lloyd, some Arizona basketball news and notes, and a lot of different things that come with it. Have a great, great rest of your day.